Good evening. Tonight, a diplomatic earthquake has rocked transatlantic relations as EU ambassadors convene in an urgent, emergency meeting, scrambling to respond to a stunning tariff threat from the Trump administration, all sparked by the strategic territory of Greenland. This breaking development, first reported by CNN, signals a dramatic escalation in tensions between Washington and Brussels, with Greenland, an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, unexpectedly thrust into the center of a high-stakes geopolitical standoff. The very notion of a U.S. tariff threat explicitly tied to Greenland has sent shockwaves across European capitals, prompting a swift and forceful, unified response from the European Union. The emergency meeting of EU ambassadors underscores the profound gravity with which Brussels views the latest move by the Trump administration. This isn't just a routine diplomatic spat, it's a crisis-level gathering, signifying that the perceived threat is immediate, substantial, and demands a concerted, coordinated strategy from all 27 member states. Such extraordinary sessions are typically reserved for matters of paramount importance, issues that directly challenge the economic stability or political unity of the bloc.
The speed with which this meeting was called speaks volumes about the perceived severity of the situation. Discussions behind closed doors are undoubtedly focusing on the potential economic fallout for European industries should these tariffs materialize, as well as the broader implications for the Transatlantic alliance, which has already been under considerable strain in recent years. The United States' use of a tariff threat as leverage in what appears to be a dispute concerning Greenland represents a deeply concerning precedent for the EU. Tariffs, essentially taxes on imported goods, are potent economic weapons. If implemented, they could significantly increase the cost of European products entering the U.S. market, making them less competitive and potentially harming various sectors, from agriculture and automotive to technology and luxury goods. Such measures could trigger retaliatory tariffs from the EU, spiraling into a damaging trade war that would hurt businesses and consumers on both sides of the Atlantic. The exact nature or scope of the threatened tariffs has not been publicly detailed, but the mere mention of such a possibility is enough to trigger alarm bells, given the history of previous trade disputes involving the US and EU, particularly regarding steel and aluminum, and the ongoing saga involving aircraft subsidies.
This move signals a willingness by the Trump administration to use aggressive economic tools to advance its interests, even against close allies. At the heart of this unfolding diplomatic drama lies Greenland. While the specific points of contention prompting the U.S. tariff threat remain under wraps, Greenland's immense geopolitical significance is undeniable. Situated strategically between the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans, Greenland possesses vast untapped natural resources, including rare earth minerals crucial for modern technology. Its position makes it a critical area for shipping lanes, scientific research, and perhaps most importantly, military and strategic interests, particularly in the context of increasing global competition in the Arctic region. Both Russia and China have shown growing interest in the Arctic, and the U.S. has long maintained a strategic presence in Greenland, notably with Thule airbase. The idea that a disagreement over Greenland could lead to a tariff threat from Washington against the entire European Union highlights just how vital this remote, ice-covered landmass is perceived to be in the grand scheme of international power dynamics.
It suggests a deeply rooted U.S. interest in Greenland's future, and a clear message that any perceived obstruction or lack of cooperation from EU members, particularly Denmark, concerning that interest could come with a steep economic price. This latest development further underscores the transactional nature of the Trump administration's foreign policy approach, where economic leverage is frequently employed to achieve strategic objectives. It reflects a willingness to challenge established norms and alliances, prioritizing perceived national interests through direct, often confrontational means. For the EU, this situation poses a complex challenge: how to defend its economic interests and maintain transatlantic stability, while simultaneously asserting its sovereignty and expressing solidarity with Denmark, one of its member states.
The emergency meeting is therefore not just about tariffs, but about defining the EU's stance against what it likely views as undue economic pressure and an infringement on the sovereign decisions of one of its members regarding an autonomous territory. The coming days will be crucial. Diplomats will undoubtedly be working overtime to understand the precise demands or grievances from the U.S. side that led to this extraordinary tariff threat over Greenland.
The EU ambassadors will likely be deliberating a range of responses, from unified diplomatic appeals for de-escalation to considering potential retaliatory measures if the situation continues to escalate. The ultimate outcome of this sudden and surprising diplomatic flare-up remains highly uncertain, but one thing is clear: the future of transatlantic relations, and indeed the geopolitical landscape surrounding the Arctic, just became significantly more complex and volatile. We will continue to track this developing story closely.